On this week's show, we're discussing a Forza release date has just been leaked, the Resident Evil showcase, Amazon Games is shutting down a AAA game, and who's next to play Kratos. All that and much, much more on this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone. Welcome back to the GamerGuild Podcast, your weekly show where we round up all the week's video game stories and news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GamerGuildTV and up there in the digital clouds on your podcast preference of choice. Podcast players for this week are none over myself, Mr. Richie, and the Arcane Rogue, Mr. Chris. How are you doing?
Good game, everyone. I'm good. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Me
We're
too.
out for some drinky poos, some bottomless brunch cocktail, because that's how the cool kids do it when you're pushing 40. You go out day drinking, spend a one-off fee, get unlimited food and unlimited drinks crammed into a 90-minute session, then you're done and cooked for the rest of the day.
Then you go home.
And fall asleep. Maybe order a late-night McDonald's to top you up before bed.
Truthfully, I do actually prefer day drinking nowadays, because I feel like it's the whole thing. Like, if you go out drinking late and you're out to like even just 1-2 in the morning, I never sleep well after it. So then I'm exhausted all day the next day. I'm less likely to have a hangover if I day drink because you have time to sober up a bit before you go to sleep.
Good bit of water, some paracetamol down,
Yeah, and it doesn't mess up your sleep schedule as much, which as I've got older, that's become a thing.
That happens, and I'm sure a lot of our audience, viewers and listeners right now are thinking, preach, brother, preach. I completely get you.
In your early mid 20s, it's like I could stay up on the weekend till 3-4 in the morning, and then get up at 8 o'clock to go to work on the Monday without being knackered. Nowadays, that would kill me.
That's what happens. But then on the flip side, at that age, you were probably dead at 8 o'clock in the morning as well, dead on your feet. Took me a good at least till 11 o'clock to really perk up on most days.
I don't know. I think on a weekend, but during the week when I need to get up to go to work, I'd just get up and go, and then I'll be fine.
I'll be fine, but I very much use the term I am not a morning person.
Oh yeah, I never used to be, but I can't sleep in much nowadays. Even if I try, it just doesn't happen.
It's that old man Richie.
Yeah, it is.
That's what happens.
Well, I reckon I've got a healthier. Yeah, arguably not, because I'm not staying up as late. But
more time to appreciate games.
Yes. And talking about appreciate games, have you been appreciating any games this week, Chris?
I have. I did it. I got the platinum for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Don't need to really repeat everything that I've spoke about the last couple of weeks, because I think I've been talking about it for probably a month now. Finished it. Got the secret Easter egg ending, which I liked. And it was a nice clear. I still have the Order of the Giants DLC to do, which I'm going to go back to probably tonight and just dabble my way through that and enjoy it without the kind of pressure of trophy hunting on the back of it. Just enjoy the story for what it is and what it is as an add-on. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it and completely would love a sequel, or even if they just remade the movies but as a game. I think that's another thing. Like, we get movie tie-in games, but I feel like the way Machine Games tweaked the puzzle mechanics, the exploration in and around a story, I actually feel like you could very much take just the script from the original 3 movies, break out into exploration puzzle segments, keep the cutscenes not similar to almost one for one from the movies, and you would have an equally as good adventure. So, but not that they'll ever do that. But
instead of retelling the movies beat by beat, you take the overall story and transplant it into a format that works better for games.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the genre of Indiana Jones lends itself to the game. That's why it works so well.
That's why we have Tomb Raider.
If you think about just like the first movie, you've got things like when he's looking for the little icon bit that shows him the location of the Ark.
Yeah, you can expand it a bit. Yeah.
Using the video game engine, and then you play out that battle, that level, explore it, and they basically just expand it out. So you go to all the locations, you see all the characters, you get little bits of the clips from the movie, and it just plays like the movie, and it's so fun. And I don't think we get that now. You get like loosely tied in to franchises, but not movies.
The problem is, for every like Lord of the Rings 2 Towers adaptation, there's a million just shit cheap cash-ins. And that's, I think, why like the movie tie-in games died a death. And there's also, I think, when you're working writing a movie, if you're trying to make the game at the same time, syncing them up can be difficult. I think you're almost better off. Like, I think James Bond on the N64 came out a few years after GoldenEye. Mm-hmm. So then they had plenty of time to work on the game at their own pace and tell the story how they wanted to tell it. Yeah. And that's a perfect example, actually, where they expanded on it. There's levels in that game that do not exist in the movie, or is literally Bond running down a corridor, and they've turned that into an entire level.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I think once the worlds are fully realised, you can do stuff in them. I think that's why Hogwarts Legacy did so well.
Yeah.
And that's why I think one of my top hype games for the year is Jurassic Park Survival, because it looks like a beautifully rendered version of Isla Nublar from the movie, with the park and everything, and you are going to get to explore it in first-person view whilst being hunted by velociraptors, no doubt.
Yeah.
So, delicate subject matter, but when done right...
That's it. It's when done right, and when you take enough creative liberties to actually make the story work in a different medium, because that's sometimes the problem there, where movies and video games tell stories at a very different pace.
Yeah.
Movies are a lot quicker compared to video games.
Agreed. So I'll be moving on to something next. I've got that gap between now and Resident Evil Requiem, so you're talking maybe 5 and a bit weeks until it launches in February. So I'm getting an itch for some retro stuff. I was thinking about hooking my PlayStation 3 up and maybe just going and experiencing something that I've either not experienced before, or maybe I'll check out one of the Resident Evils leading up to it. We shall see. But in the meantime, I did also do a video drop for our PlayStation Retro Hunt. So the video that dropped this week is the Destruction Derby, or Derby? Derby? Do you say Derby or Derby?
It's Derby.
Derby. Which was made by Psygnosis, which eventually went on to do Rocket League, I believe. So they kind of like got that familiar ground territory.
That's where they cut the teeth.
Yeah. And that's up now. There's a new one going up for members this week, so you guys get a special sneak peek. But yeah, quite a few of them ticking over now. And I'm spending money for your viewing pleasure and my own collection. So there is an inherent benefit for me somewhere in there. But how about yourself? What have you been playing? Still chipping away at the old block?
Yeah, still Octopath. I'm very, very deep into it now. I think I'm on like the last main set of story missions, and after that, I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of cleanup. But if I'm still talking about this in a month's time, then I was wrong. It's just a big game. And you know, sometimes when you're playing a game that is that big, occasionally, I think you need a couple. Like, there's been a few nights this week where I haven't played. It's like, you know what, I just need a few days away from it to come back. But still loving it. I'm looking forward to getting it all wrapped up. I do want the platinum as well, with how many hours I've sunk into it now. So,
and you're not overly fussed on Requiem.
No,
so that's not in your pipeline for February.
No.
You're going on the Control train, aren't you?
Yeah, that's currently in line. I don't know. I've got nothing against Resident Evil. I've enjoyed them when I've played them, but it's just they're not games that right now I feel compelled to go out and play immediately, regardless of how good it is. I'm quite happy to appreciate from a distance.
Well, for Requiem, I think I might do a first look on the channel, just because it's part of our channel's DNA that we've actually done all of the new Resident Evils. Richie says he picks up his Resident Evil cup.
What, because it's got an R on it?
Evil. Yeah. Resident Evil.
It's a Disney cup. It's about as far from Resident Evil as you can get.
Nah,
Resident
that mouse
Evil.
is wild. But yeah, so good stuff, fun stuff to play, and I'm looking forward to the year of gaming getting ahead. Plenty to come.
Yep, indeed. But don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're kept in the loop with all amazing content here at GamerGuildTV. Well, Chris, now, would you like to introduce us to the
graciously gathered Gamer Guild Gazette, aka the news?
The very quick news.
Yeah.
Which is...
I started off slow and I was like, I want to do it different this week.
Which is, as always, is brought to you by our wonderful Guild Heroes, which you can join for as little as 99p over on the YouTube channel, which gives you early access to Chris's Retro Hunt and early access to this podcast, depending on how hungover I am on Sunday.
Yeah. Early or not early, dependent.
First news story. PlayStation's most downloaded games of 2025, Chris. We've got the list now. There's some interesting stuff in it.
Yeah, I always think it's interesting because obviously we don't hear that much in the wider world. We know Steam numbers are tracked like meticulously because they're so like open platform.
You can just go to SteamDB and just see live numbers and charts and awesome stuff.
And I feel like that's to their benefit. I feel like they've embraced the kind of internet culture of people like to know the nerdy detail of this kind of stuff, the market trends and whatever. And then we've obviously got Xbox in the hand who've been like quite secretive. They've not really disclosed hardware sales or software sales for basically since the launch Game Pass, because it does skew their numbers. So I can understand why they wouldn't want to put out numbers that may on the front look disappointing, where actually on their back end they know they are still getting like decent numbers through the door. And it is also always skewed because they still celebrate. You still see them post going like 5 million players are currently on Halo, X amount of million players engaged with this game. So they still talk about it in a way. And Nintendo have always been Nintendo, right? They're quite sheepish on discussing it. And we did used to have NPD used to put out their sales numbers every month. But they were only ever able to get physical sales of Nintendo, so you always had to take their numbers with a pinch of salt because the Nintendo don't release their digital sales.
And you'd imagine with the Switch especially, digital is much higher.
Just everyone, right? Switch used to be out the holdout for physical copies, so it was possibly the most reliable, but then we saw with the Switch 2, and then this generation, it's leaned so heavily digital, you're probably talking about a 70-30 split by the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised.
Was it Ubisoft that we were talking about last week who caught the at least 2 minutes or something played as part of their player base numbers?
The opening minutes. So for PlayStation to actively come out and just tell us what their 2025 most downloaded games were, and they do this on the regular, so it's no surprise that we get kind of a year summary. But I always think between the two arguably biggest markets, you've got the USA, which is the biggest gaming market, and then the European Union as well, all included.
I don't know why. I'm guessing the UK isn't listed. It isn't counting, unless
I think it's counted in EU,
which
all things said and done.
Be.
But it always traditionally has been. So I think as a gaming industry, I don't think they need to separate it for political reasons. It doesn't really benefit them. As a private business, they probably just bundle it all in as the European continent market.
If you're an investor in PlayStation, then that lack of clarity in what market you're actually talking about, because I would read it as the EU market doesn't include the UK's numbers, because the UK is a separate political thing that just isn't part of the EU.
Well, politics aside, I'm sure they know that internally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should say EU/UK.
Yeah.
But in terms of just overall sales, though, I think the more surprising thing is just where some of the games kind of sit and drop into it. Is there anywhere you'd like to particularly start with this one?
Should we just start at the top?
There's lots of little stories you can kind of pull out, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of common games between the lists, but the lists are quite different overall. Should we just start at the top? So the top of the charts for the US and Canada is NBA 2K26, and in the EU it's EA Sports FC 26, which I think that is reflecting the culture and preferred sports there. Yeah,
absolutely. If you ever need any insight into which sport's favoured, then there's it laid out for you 100% in our gaming tactics.
Yeah, not really. I'm not really surprised by either of them, to be honest. Are you?
Sometimes I think other games will creep in there, but then you forget how much of actually casual gaming, sports in general is huge.
Like talking about like the Europe, how many people own PlayStations purely for EA Sports FC?
Yeah. So many of our friends.
They might dabble in
one or two games.
The random other game here, which they probably steal a few.
Yep. Yeah, most likely. Yeah. But yeah, so no surprise sports games at the top.
Yeah.
I think looking a little bit deeper into the next one, I think the biggest surprise is US Canada in at number 2 is Battlefield 6.
Yep.
So Call of Duty not got top spot.
That comes in at 5 on the EU, so it's still quite high up. But it's definitely doing better in the US and Canada than it is in Europe, Battlefield 6.
Yep, and then respectively in the US and Europe, you've got Grand Theft Auto 5 somehow.
Second in Europe and third in the US.
Which, who doesn't own this game yet? Again, this is why I keep saying to my colleagues at work.
It's not the copies, it's the in-game transactions, isn't it?
Or just in-game download, isn't it? But in terms of just like day-to-day interaction, it's wild how active a game that's 12-year-old still is. I'd be interested actually to see when 6 does come out, what impact it has on 5's numbers.
You're right.
Like, does everyone just flock and leave?
It is downloads, it's not transactions. Is there a few people who just keep downloading the game, delete it, download and delete it?
Is it the people who, like, every time they immediately turn 18, they go and buy it?
I don't know.
Like, is there just waves and waves of, like school kids who suddenly become of age, they're allowed to play it?
I really don't get how... I get it in terms of overall sales, like revenue, because it's games as a service with Grand Theft Auto Online. There's probably a lot of people spending a lot of money in-game. But in terms of overall downloads, who keeps buying or downloading this game? It's weird. I do think it's weird this high up. And that's not me being I'm not exactly a big fan of Grand Theft Auto. It's like, I do, just with how long it's been. If you were a big Grand Theft Auto fan now, should you just have left it installed?
Probably. Most
there
likely.
You go. The game is so fucking big that every time you buy another game, someone has to delete it to play the other game. Then when they go back to it between games, they have to re-download it.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle. Following up next, we've got a couple more sports games. EA Sports FC 25.
How's that fared?
I'm guessing it's like the heavy... Because if you think of where the season splits almost like halfway through the year, doesn't it?
There'll be sales on as well earlier in the year, because FC 26 comes out, what is it? September. So it's the back end of the year. So this is doing a lot of heavy lifting for this first 2/3 of the year, really, isn't it?
Yeah, so you're essentially getting the tail end of last year's, probably one of last year's most successful games, and then you're also getting the launch boom of the new entry. So it's no surprise, I guess, the way it's split, but it just shows you how much of a powerhouse EA Sports is in the sports kind of category. Over on the US and Canada side, it's EA Sports College Football, which was the return of the college football franchise for the first time in many years, followed by Madden NFL. So again, we're not really in that realm, but it's insane at how popular college football is.
Yeah,
equally on par with NFL. That's like saying in the UK, like the National League is just as popular as the Premiership. It's like it's
not even that. If the more like for like would be a university level team, so just a team like a club at a university. Yeah. But I think you're better off looking at college football. The way I think of it is basically this is like professional level players. Like
the popularity is wild. Like some university football stadiums are bigger than most Premier League grounds in the UK, which is like it's wild, and they make so much money for the college in return as well. And I'll say the players, the students, the graduates, the scholarships, they all get paid nowadays for it and for being in the game, rightly so.
But I suppose
sports coming in hot.
In American football, you don't have the same academy systems that you have over here. Not every single town in America has its own like professional team. College kind of fills that gap, so it's just
they all gravitate. And I guess when you look at it on a national scope, just the sheer scale of the USA, like a major university, you're pulling in essentially the entire population of a state the size of a country in Europe. Yeah. So in theory, I don't know, somewhere like Texas with a population probably equivalent to the UK, give or take, should probably be able to pull in.
I kind of like the idea of it as well, though, because not everyone who gets to like a decent level can make a career out of being a professional athlete. But because it's college football, you have to be in university to play, and a lot of universities for the scholarships and stuff require you to maintain a certain grade point average.
We've all seen that. That teen movie. If you don't get a B in maths, you're not going to college football.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, coach, study. It's still important.
So I think if for those who don't manage to graduate onto the NFL, they can still find decent careers outside of football. But in the more European sense, you kind of have the whole, well, if you don't make it in the Premier League, then you've got the Championship. If you don't make it in the Championship, you've got League One. If you don't make it in League One, you've got League Two. And even non-league, semi-pro, you can earn probably a decent living without having to do a second job or anything, depending how much money you want to earn. So,
very true. Yeah. And then over on the EU side, very pertinent to this week's news stories, Forza Horizon 5 in at number 4. So that means the Europeans have a massive hankering for a racing arcade game. In at number 5.
It does make the list for US and Canada, but it's a bit further down. Then we do have Minecraft sitting pretty in 6th place for both.
Yeah, markets. Again, I think Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto, and some other games, they've just became like a staple now. Again, where they just exist with, and I think
it's the fact this list is downloads. That's the bit I find weird. But was the Minecraft movie last year?
Yeah, I think that probably saw a massive boost for it. I do think Minecraft's one of those where it's just like a coming-of-age game, where I generally think like every 7, 8, 9-year-old who's maybe starting to get into gaming or coding or whatever it is, and yeah, probably is. That's just my naive.
My nephew started playing when about 3 or 4.
Yeah, so if you think like that, if that generation, they're constantly coming through the ranks, aren't they? Just like every other year, there's just more and more of them. So I think Minecraft is one of them evergreen games where it's fairly easy going. Parents don't need to look at it and think, oh, it's grotesque, crazy violence. It's something they've probably heard of in pop culture.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever have a problem with my daughter eventually when she wants to play it. I wouldn't even feel worried about censoring it or checking it out. I'd be like, yeah, just go build some blocks.
As long
it's
as
just virtual Lego,
the only bit of it I would keep an eye on is the online play components to it.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not just going to hand her the controller and let her run off. But that's a different conversation unto itself. Yeah. And then surprise,
Call of Duty Black Ops 7
in 8th.
Yeah.
8th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th. Yeah. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 down in 8th.
I
don't feel like we've ever had that conversation in all of the 6 years of doing this podcast in various guises. Call of Duty's always been top dog.
I don't know, it came out mid-November last year, so it only had 6 weeks of the year, but that's never stopped Call of Duty.
It, though.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Battlefield was above it on both. And again, it's people who are lapsed Call of Duty players. I feel like it's been coming for a long time. I was very surprised it didn't happen 2 years ago when they dropped the campaign.
I think we were both predicting that Battlefield, although it's doing well, would fall off a bit when Call of Duty came out. And I remember distinctly thinking it comes back to how well does Battlefield recover after Call of Duty. It's won, well, at least in the EU, and US and Canada. Yeah, it's
both.
This time round, Battlefield is out downloading Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Asterisk downloading.
Yes.
If we look at physical, it might be blown out of the water. They might have some really cool special editions that come with dog tags or camouflage ghillie suits or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I didn't like what I played at Black Ops 7. I fell off it immediately quick after actually quite enjoying Black Ops 6. And I'm so casual, I don't even impact the numbers. But if the general consensus is actually... True, but out there, if you think the general consensus is actually Battlefield 6 this year is shit hot, and we've got other competition coming in the form of, in the next slot, Ark Raiders as well, in the US-Canada side. And for the EU, it's down another 2 slots in 10th. I wish they'd numbered this chart. It would make it a lot easier to keep tabs on it. So yeah, I think with strong competition from newcomers like Ark Raiders, rejuvenations like Battlefield 6, I think Call of Duty's just been beat up on all fronts, and having a weak entry themselves, I think it's been a perfect storm to dethrone them for the first time.
Do you think there's something to be said by the fact that it was the second Black Ops in 2 years as well?
Yeah, I think
so. You're not even getting. I know Call of Duty usually is that annual cycle, but you're not getting it. You didn't get the rotation. It's the same. It's the next of the same games. So, a lot. I mean, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is still on the EU charts.
Yeah,
and it's on the US charts. It's on both charts, so is a lot of people going, especially if you don't care about the story, Because imagine there's a lot of Call of Duty players who don't play the story. Then do you care about going for 7 if you're still happy with 6?
Yeah, and you've got in the background as well, you've also got Warzone. So I think there's the big elephant in the room. The obvious irony of that, as soon as Microsoft have acquired them, it's gone to shit. They've been top dog literally since their inception with Modern Warfare, and then you take over, they're finally in your wheelhouse, and look at Xbox Studios, finally it's a dud when they actually have full control from start to finish in the development cycle. Dun dun dun. Again, I mean, we jest, but it'll have still made millions and millions.
Oh god, yeah. And again, I think there's definitely some self-cannibalizing going on here with Black Ops 6 still being in the charts because it's only a year old. And then you've got Warzone, which is always going strong. Is it just a case of Black Ops 7 is like a lot of Call of Duty players are like who would have been diehards for it were like, well, why? Or maybe going, you know what, I'm going to give Battlefield a go this year. I'll pick up Black Ops 7 later.
Yeah.
You might find that Battlefield 6 trails off a bit more as this year goes on, and Call of Duty Black Ops 6 picks up.
I don't think it's going away. And it's that thing, isn't it, when they announce inevitably the next one,
yeah,
whichever direction this year's Call of Duty is going in, because remember, we are probably 10 months out from the next Call of Duty already.
Yeah.
Which is wild. When that marketing cycle and the rumour starts, where it'll drive people towards Black Ops 7 because they'll think, oh, you know what? The new one's 6 months away. I haven't checked out the last year's one yet, and I'll pick it up now while it's a little bit cheaper. So we'll have a look at that one as well. But shout out, I guess, especially to Arc Raiders coming in there absolutely hot. I know there's a good couple of folks now at Discord who've really, really enjoyed it. I feel like it is starting to tail off a little bit now, the interest. So this is the crucial time for a game like Arc Raiders to try and gain that interest and garner that energy back up for like a phase 2.
Yeah, I feel like it's getting ready for people waiting to see what the next content drop's going to be to keep it going. I think Arc Raiders is going to be absolutely fine though. It's going strong.
Oh yeah,
you can't fault it. Like it's doing amazingly well, to be honest. So
it's going to be one of those where it's drawn in its big player base, like all big games do, and it will inevitably lose a big chunk of players from the initial launch, and then you'll have that dedicated fan base who it becomes their game for the whole year. There'll be players now, that's all they'll play for the entire year. They'll jump on with their mates, they'll chip away at Arc Raiders, they'll get the loot, they'll do whatever, they'll enjoy the season passes. And similar to like when you look at like the Steam numbers and stuff, and people are still out there playing like Counter-Strike and everything, and you just think, or even back to throw Ubisoft a bone, Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
It's still, again, once the I guess the fan base boils down to it, you are left with just the hardcore of the hardcore. You might get some newcomers who come in from time to time and maybe like a good shooter or they're interested in the genre. But once you've got that core, as long as you can still survive with that core, I think it bodes well. And then you crack on in the background making a sequel or doing whatever. But your core, we saw it with Destiny, didn't we, with Bungie? Yeah. Like Destiny, they got their core players, everyone else dropped off, but their core rotating base of players who were just chipping away at that light number, getting their rank up and getting all the loot. They were content.
These companies I can guarantee, will have metrics to go out. What is the minimum number of player base that we need, that we have to sustain before we start talking about no longer producing content? Sometimes it might be a creative decision to stop producing content, like go, we've done everything we want to do with this, we want to move on. Sometimes it could be literally a numbers thing where if a player base drops below a certain metric for a certain period of time for like consecutive months, then we go, right, we need to start talking about wrapping this up and moving our resources elsewhere. But Arc Raiders, I think that's nowhere near that.
No. And it's wild thinking in an alternate universe, Arc Raiders could have absolutely bombed and the studio could be going through layoffs right now and seeing what the future holds. And Concord could be flying high and do like, it's so weird how like some things again just get that zeitgeist, that conversation going, and the internet gets behind them. Memes are made, laughs were had, streamers and influencers alike all jump on it, and then it's the next big thing out of nowhere.
Do you think there's something to be said for things like Arc Raiders and Battlefield, or games that are taking themselves seriously at the moment, where things like Concord looked aimed at a younger audience, it looked a bit slapstick in its comedy and a little bit cartoony, And maybe that's just an aesthetic that people are moving away from in the multiplayer space.
Yep, absolutely. I think it's like fashion, isn't it? It goes in cycles, and I think very much. I think we've been well ahead of the curve
Helldivers,
for
another
change.
example.
We're just. I'm just done with the skins and the loot boxes. The whole Fortnite wave. We've been riding it for like 10 years now, and I think us and the audience that started with Fortnite, they're all like in their 20s and stuff now. Like they're probably done with it as well. So it's no surprise then that Battlefield and Arc Raiders have had like just that resurgence. So it's interesting to see. Moving on, I guess, to the next one. Interesting clash. EU, we've got Assassin's Creed Shadows kind of squaring off against Ghosts of Yotei. So, interesting one there.
What I find interesting as well, though, is in the EU, Assassin's Creed Shadows stands several places above Ghosts of Yotei, but in the US, it's the opposite way around.
Yeah. I guess, does the US have like a fond affiliation for Japan? With like that... I definitely know, like on the West Coast they do. Yeah. But like a lot of them often holiday in Japan, and the technology and stuff, and the relationship after bombing the shit out of them in the World War is quite like.
I don't know.
Positive.
It could also be that Ubisoft is a French company, so maybe it just has a bit more presence in the EU.
Again, I love all this data because it's such an interesting study of just kind of like the general consciousness of like a continent in this regard. And I think what you're saying there about Assassin's Creed, yes. At the same time, does the Assassin's Creed brand carry more weight in the EU? Because in recent years, we've had Valhalla, which was UK-based. Yeah. Before that, we had Origins and Odyssey, which was Greek, which again, EU again. Obviously, Origins, Egypt, so close enough. It's on the Mediterranean. Yeah. But just in general, the last 3 entries in this massive series have all centered around like our continent.
And the thing is,
it's interesting how you might be more swayed because of the legacy as well.
We're talking about 2 countries versus how many countries in the EU is it? Is it 36?
Well, it depends if you're talking to a Russian or not. But we won't go into that one.
Yeah. The 27 officially, there's 27 countries. So we're talking 2 countries versus 27. So I think there is quite a bit more cultural diversity in the EU just because of that. There's definitely cultural diversity across the US and Canada from state to state, province to province, etc. But I think Europe has a longer history of it. So maybe there is some of that at play here.
Yeah, but it's interesting, I think, because they're so close. Yeah, it's closely tied, but the charts are flipped, and you do wonder, like, well, why is that? Why is that?
It's well known that Sweden hates Japan.
Notoriously.
Yeah.
It's the Swedish fish.
Yeah, there could be random shit like that where just because the game's set in Japan, it's just in certain countries in the EU, it's just not interested.
Yeah. Like, is it a timeline thing? Is it a racist thing? You just never quite know.
Might just be a lack of cultural interest. Like, it might not even be anything to do with racism or history. It might just be we're not interested in that, but we are interested. Although they're both Japan.
I've just been saying this twice. Remember all the weird backlash of protagonists. So it's like, EU perfectly fine with a black protagonist. US, Canada, just saying. Just saying. All of a sudden, Ghost of Yotei with your traditional Asian protagonist right up through the ranks. But she was a woman, so there's something to be said in that as well. We'll get into Lara Croft later on.
They're both women. But I suppose half and half for Shadows.
The internet, we'll see. But either way, feudal Japan games, ticking the numbers on both sides of the pond.
Yeah, coming in next. And then MLB The Show, so another sports game, creeping up in the US and Canada. While Claire Obscure finally makes an appearance in the EU.
Yeah, the game of the year. I feel like, again, that even though it was the game of the year, I always think the outlets that give these awards out are very siloed. It's a siloed industry of journalists and fans.
In a way, isn't it? Where it's like, it's not necessarily the most popular movie that wins. It's meant to be the objective best. So, Claire, Expedition 33 was voted to be the most objective best, but it's definitely not the highest seller.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as you said there. Like, Claire Obscure could have won the best movie at the Cannes Film Festival, but that doesn't mean it's going to topple Avengers Doomsday at the box office, which is this bombastic AAA, which Call of Duty, I guess, would be the equivalent of that. It doesn't. It might be critically received well and have the better story and character development and filmography and stuff, but to the grand masses who just want to see big explosions, superheroes, action, it's interesting. But it's good to see it in there. And I think Claire Obscure is going to be one of those evergreen titles that now it has all the Game of the Year awards. I think you'll just see it like have a constant flow of downloads right up until the sequel.
Yeah, indeed.
Where next?
Ready or Not, it goes up against Split Fiction.
I don't know what Ready or Not is.
I've just looked it up. It's an intense. I read Ready or Not is an intense tactical first-person shooter that depicts modern-day world in which SWAT police units are called to defuse hostile and confronting situations. And the Steam tag is tactical, realistic FPS shooter multiplayer co-op. Goes back to my point.
I do remember it.
It's more serious, more realistic stuff in the multiplayer space taking hold a bit more at the moment.
Yeah, I do remember it. It was like the Rainbow Six Siege indie game this year, where it was like a bunch of developers getting together to do. I think they did like quite a long, extensive beta period, and it was one of them where the gameplay loop just really fun, like Siege, but I guess without Ubisoft's confinements, they're a bit more brutal with it. There's lots of clips where it's like actually the hostage situation with terrorists and whatnot is just brutal. But gameplay wise, it's got a similar loop to Siege. Siege. But again, interesting to see it up there.
Split Fiction.
Stateside. Split Fiction, yeah, I'm not surprised. Does it show up in the US?
I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't. It's only in the EU, so again, interesting to look at the different tastes.
But it's worth pointing out there's a lot more sports games in the US. So it could be pushed off the list by stuff like that.
Also, a couple of points down in the EU, It Takes Two.
Yeah.
So that's two games jumping in, like one that was an old game. I wonder if we're thinking maybe heavy sales.
Yeah, I was going to say we haven't brought up sales at all yet, and some of this could be the impact of sales. I'd noticed Hogwarts Legacy is like next in the
which has been heavily discounted.
Which is that's why I was going to bring it up. It's like I feel like that is coming back in, although it's an amazing game, because of heavy sales and regular sales. Yeah. So people who haven't played it heard good things like, oh, it's discounted for £15, I'll just buy it.
Yeah. Interesting one. It Takes Two. But yeah, I've definitely seen Hogwarts Legacy on sale all over the place. Quite possibly, arguably, maybe why Assassin's Creed Shadows has pipped Yote in the EU. Cause
I was thinking that as well.
That got heavily discounted for from the summer onwards.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to look at the downloads for the EU for Shadows versus Ghost of Yote, like month by month after their release, to see at what point which one sits on top. Because I've got a feeling Yote will be sitting on top until Shadows gets sales, and then Shadows will pip it. Yeah,
interesting. Under Hogwarts Legacy for us, UFC 5. Didn't realise UFC was so popular.
Nope. But again, sports games, they do well.
Does UFC doesn't get a yearly iteration, is it? It's UFC 5. It's not UFC 2025.
I truthfully don't know.
I'd be interested to see. Yeah, I don't either. It's like I know the WWE games, the W2K, don't really get an annual. It's like every 3 or so years you get one of those now.
So UFC 5, The Return of the Beast.
It's like got Brock Lesnar on the front. He's the Beast, right?
This can't be the right game because this came out in 1995. Oh, that's UFC 5 is the event, not the game. I was going to say, wait, hang on a second. Has a game from 1995 made it to the
2020? It is 2023 release though. So again, I'm going to go back to possibly big things happening in the real world of UFC, which has drove people towards downloading a 3-year-old game now, but also probably heavily discounted. The other thing outside of sales we should factor in, how many of these games went into PlayStation Plus?
True.
If it's saying download, there is quite a high chance. It Takes Two, I feel like, was in PlayStation Plus this year. I feel like Hogwarts Legacy might have been.
Yeah.
And actually, I think Grand Theft Auto was twice this year, maybe, on PlayStation Plus.
It's mad when you think about it. When that
just drops out.
I'll just put GTA back in.
Yeah. Flipping over the stateside, though, Shadows, Clair Obscur kind of coming in near the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
But one for you, Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, sneaking in there at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that it's actually quite low because it is a remaster of an old game, and it's also available for free on Xbox Game Pass. So
that's true. And you bought it on
I did
PlayStation, so you'll have been, if you didn't go physical, it would be digital on your dashboard as well.
But if you had both consoles and give them equal priority, you're playing this on Xbox. I bought it on PlayStation because I give my PlayStation at the moment a much higher priority. So,
And then sneaking in at the bottom of the list, we've got stateside Monster Hunter Wilds. And in the EU, we've got Rematch and Formula 125, which, I don't really think... Do Americans care for Formula 1 at all, really?
I don't know. Is it an American?
I feel like it's definitely a European...
It's definitely European straining in the Middle East. But I don't know. I don't think there is an American leg of the F1, is there?
I don't think so. F1 USA track. Because they're all about NASCAR and shit, aren't they? The Miami circuit. I feel like I've heard of that one. That might be from Gran Turismo, I'm thinking. Formula 1 circuit. Because, when I think of Formula 1, I always think of, like, Monaco, Dubai, Silverstone. Circuits, let's see.
Yeah, it was 2025. There was the last race, according to Wiki. United States Grand Prix.
Palace, Vegas. The one in Vegas, one in Miami. Yeah. Well, again, I think it's more of a spectacle, isn't it, when they do it in places like Vegas and that. Portugal, Spain, Dallas and Detroit. Yeah. Oh, they haven't hosted in Dallas and Detroit since the 80s. I'll take that one back.
Yeah, it's been held every year at the Circuit of Americas in Austin, Texas, except 2020 when it was cancelled due to the COVID pandemic.
That's fine. But yeah, I don't think of any like famous Formula 1 drivers from there. It's one of them probably sports where it probably is still watched by millions, but it just doesn't get anywhere near the NBA or NFL or baseball or anything like that. Actually, was MLB The Show was on there as well. Forgot about that one. And then Rematch sneaking in there. So Rematch, the Sifu football game. Sea football sneaking in. So again, football,
yes,
definitely the sport of Europe. No surprise. And then Monster Hunter Wilds, which by all accounts from, I think, Capcom's feedback said it done quite poorly, even though it sold millions. But I definitely, compared to Monster Hunter World, I want to say, Wilds has fell off a cliff since last March, April. It launched and then just went.
It seems nothing. Like with Monster Hunter, some games land really well and some games just seem to just go, okay, and then there's another one coming out. And naming conventions is like too similar. Wilds and Wilds is hard to keep track of which one's which.
Yeah. If you actually do look at the blog, like we'll just throw a bone over to it as well to round it out. But PS4 games for downloads is also on the blog. Red Dead Redemption 2, top of their charts. US Canada, Star Wars Battlefront 2, second. Batman Arkham Knight, third. Minecraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, A Way Out, Need for Speed Heat. And then it kind of goes into just like little smaller indie games. Middle-earth Shadow of War, Kingdom Come Deliverance, God of War, Overcooked 2. It's just interesting to go back to an old, like last generation and still see the data. In the EU, sneaking in there in the last few, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Origins, Middle-earth Shadow of War. So you do wonder, is it your casuals who haven't even got in on this generation yet? They've still got the dusty old PS4 sat in the drawer, and they watch The Rings of Power on Amazon and go, oh, you know what? I'll dust off the PS4. Yeah. What Lord of the Rings games are? Oh, there's Shadow of War. I'll download that. Or Assassin's Creed Shadows. Oh, Assassin's Creed Shadows is non PS4. Oh well, I'll download Odyssey instead.
How many dads do you think, or mums, have got kids have just bought a PlayStation 4 in the last few years and just as often go, oh, I remember playing that game. I haven't played a game in years. I'm going to download it again. They don't have too much time to play games anymore. So you know what? The kids are in bed, right? Pour myself a beer. I'm going to play tonight.
Yeah, I can dig it out. And I think if we spoke to like our friend group, because there's quite a lot of them who like aren't gamers or they're lapsed gamers, but they all probably have, I'd say, at least a PS4. At least.
Yeah.
The couple I'm thinking of. I know we spoke to a few recently who just said like they just don't play games anymore. And again, reasons for that, who knows? But
time.
It happens to us all.
think a lot of the ones would think about how they have kids and stuff. So by the time they go home, got work from work, done the teas and stuff, they hung out with the kids and the family and stuff. And then sometimes you just knackered.
Just interest.
Yeah.
I think some lean more towards that passive thing of like just TV. Because I know if I didn't play games, I'd probably know about every single Netflix show, every single Amazon show, because I'd be watching them all. But my interests differ. And then finally on this one, PSVR 2 games, Beat Saber's top, Alien Rogue Incursion second, and everything else is just the same shit. Job Simulator.
Because there is no PSVR 2 games.
VR's absolutely dead in the water. Yeah. And then free to play, Fortnite top, Roblox second, Marvel Rivals sneaking in there a little bit. Call of Duty Warzone, Rocket League, Battlefield Red Sec, no surprise.
I feel like Marvel Rivals isn't as popular as they were hoping by the fact that it's not in the top few there.
Yeah, it's top 3 in US, Canada.
Yeah.
But again, it depends. I think Deadpool comes out this week, so I think that one, because of the sheer amount of characters they could possibly put in it, they've got material to keep it going, to give it some legs, basically.
They've got the IP that they can lean on to give it legs, but is the game good enough? Because it's doing fine, not well, I'd say, based on the fact that it's not top.
Not top dog.
Yeah.
But then, in and amongst all that data, I guess the interesting thing that leads into our next story, Richie, is the sheer success of Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
Beating out many other PlayStation exclusives for the year, beating out some AAA third-party games.
And we have a release date for the Xbox Series XS and PC versions, which is coming out first. The PS5 version will follow at an unknown date. So the release date is the 19th of May this year. So not long, just a few months to wait. So you're racing around Japan.
Did you see where this leak came from?
I didn't.
It was, if you were playing Forza Horizon 5, there was like a splash screen pop-up that came up in the middle of the game to say like pre-order now and you'll get like in-game exclusives and early access for the premium edition, and then it disappeared and no one's been able to replicate it, but thankfully someone grabbed a screenshot.
Indeed. Warrior64 over on Twitter has posted it as well, so if you want to see the full screenshot.
Yeah, absolutely. I realised when it said screenshot, I just had my arm up then. I didn't realise the bruising.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see this part of my arm until I sit on camera.
And people who are watching on the video, that is when Chris dislocated his shoulder a few weeks ago.
I think I've been given weekly updates on it, but I think I don't sit in front of the camera with my arms up and everything. When we sit here, I often like stretch and go, oh shit, what's that on my arm?
Proof, Chris has arms.
Proof. Yeah, and yet, you don't know if either of us have legs, Richie.
Nope.
They've been listening or watching us for 6 years, and we could not have legs.
I mean, our legs have been seen on camera at some point, but not recently.
Might have fell off since.
Yeah.
But yeah, Forza Horizon 6, which you won't need legs to play, because you'll have a controller in your hand.
We got confirmation of the premium edition as well, which will give you 4 days early access, VIP membership. I have no idea what that means. Also a welcome pack. Again, not sure what will be in that. A car pass, time attack car pack, Italian passion pack, car pack, and 2 premium expansions.
Yeah. Standard for a deluxe edition. I always think the deluxe ultimate editions are usually quite shit now. You get like a couple of like skins and stuff, and I just think it doesn't impress me at all.
The days are gone where you get like a steel book or like a statue without having to pay like £400.
Yeah. Well, it's like some of them. I think one of the Resident Evil ones was basically like you get a charm for your gun, and then you get like maybe 1 extra ammo round at the opening of the game, and it's like, and you want me to pay 20 quid more for that? Oh, a Leon Kennedy alternate skin. It's like, I just don't care, like at all. But in terms of this, ironic how it dropped. I mean, are you under the same assumption as me of we were going to find out this date at next week developer direct anyway?
Yes. And I think they've accidentally hit go. Sometimes, is this a leak or is this intentional? I feel like sometimes this stuff is intentional, and they leak it to get people talking. Yeah,
quite possibly build up some hype. May, surprised by the date, or does it about fit right? Again, I think you can drop a racing game like Forza anytime.
Yeah, I think you just drop it when it's ready. To be honest.
Yeah, I don't think it clashes with any other. It doesn't really have any other competition, does it? Even if a Gran Turismo came up this year, you're talking arcade and simulation. They're very different types of game anyway. I do think, though, if this is coming out on Xbox, do we think we see the PlayStation 5 version just in time for Christmas?
Possibly.
I don't think they'll want to wait long. Looking at the numbers we just saw of how well Forza 5 did, I think they'd be daft to delay it that long.
But Forza 5, also, you could look at the numbers in a different way and go, you're more than happy to wait on this because it will still sell well when it eventually comes. I think
maybe they've satiated their appetite, though. No,
I don't think. Truthfully, I doubt they have a fixed date in mind for the PlayStation version. I think they will wait to see sales plateau a bit, and then when sales plateau a bit, that's when you go, right, now it's time. But give enough time, as much time as possible, for Xbox to capitalize.
Yeah, I always think as well, you would imagine everyone's going to play this on Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
So
it depends on the sales of they could see a spike in sales of Xbox consoles, and then in which case they're not going to push the PS5 version, are they? They're going to wait.
True. But any interest in you for buying it?
No, I'm just not interested in racing games.
I might pick up 5 if it goes in a sale. Like, did they do a physical version of Forza 5? I don't think they did they?
Might have done.
Like a PlayStation one. Forza Horizon 5 PS5. They did not. So, hence, looking back at the numbers chart we just looked at, why it might be quite high on the download list if it didn't have a physical release.
Well, yeah.
It's your only option.
But no, it's not a game I'm particularly interested in playing. If one of them, if it came to PlayStation Plus, which is very unlikely, that's when I had a bit of time, I might dabble, but
yeah,
I'm not. Well, to be fair, I'm getting rid of PlayStation Plus anyway.
Ooh.
I've no use for it. I'm paying money. Like, well, I pay annually, but a big sum of money every year, and I don't play any of the monthly games.
Yeah, I need to have a long, hard look at mine as well and think, am I getting any actual true benefit out of it, or am I just keeping it because I'm used to it?
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I'm keeping it because I'm used to it. So it's like, well, I'll get rid of it. And if I get to a point where there's loads of games coming that I want to play on PlayStation Plus again, like there has been in the past, I'll get it again. Same with Game Pass.
Would you buy Avowed again, though?
Yes. I actually genuinely would definitely consider it.
Good news, then.
I know, because we have prices. So the base game is the one I would go for, which is £40 in the UK, and the premium edition, which gives you the base game, 2-player armors, digital art book and soundtrack, and 8 companion skins for £50. So damn. I think it's a decent price, to be honest. It is a price cut. It's a $20 price cut over in the US versus like the initial launch price on Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's got the kind of the 1 year anniversary content coming as well, new races, new classes, skills, all that kind of jazz as well. So it's going to be probably the best version of it. But again, you know what? I think you'd like to think Xbox have looked, because was Avowed one of the ones that it was going to be initially priced at $80 and then they walked it back, or was that Outer Worlds?
I think that might be now.
Oh, it might have been Outer Worlds. Yeah, I might be getting my Obsidian games because they put out 3 games last year mixed up. But I think, going for another console and dropping the price down, I think, again, critical acclaim, it's sitting with an 80 on Metacritic, so it's a fantastic game by all means. I do think at the beginning of last year, it kind of got cannibalized by its own stuff. I think we were playing Avowed, I think we were saying last week, and then you jumped over to Oblivion Remastered because that just got stealth dropped on everyone. Well, I jumped over to South of Midnight, both Xbox games.
What made Avowed difficult for me was just the fact that it was on my Xbox, which I just don't use. I can't even remember the last time I switched it on at this point. So, because I was playing more and more on my Portal, Avowed is the game that made me actually buy Oblivion, because I was enjoying it, but I was not the way I wanted to play games. I wanted to be playing on my Portal in my living room with my girlfriend and all that kind of jazz. So I would generally, Avowed is definitely on my radar as a potential pickup this year, depending how things go.
Yeah. Interesting take on that as well. There's a guy in the comments here called Dog Breath. Just making a quote, just saying, it's funny how games depreciate. Unlike a car, there is no wear and tear. In fact, games get better over time due to patches and fixes. Imagine a car that at 1 year old was still in showroom condition, 0 miles. The engine had got more powerful. The seats have been changed from textile to leather. They don't really go out of date either, because visuals, unless they're released before generation transition, also get updated with patches. Anyway, good game, well worth the price, although still more than you could have paid for a month of Game Pass and a decent streaming service if you had a burning desire to play it a year ago. It's an interesting comparison.
It's an interesting take, but I think it just ultimately it's simpler than that. It just comes down to supply and demand.
Yeah.
The older a game gets, the less demand there is for it, because newer games are coming. Yeah. So then, because supply is digital, if supply stays the same, demand drops, and you want to keep selling it, you drop the price.
Yeah. Also, a big mechanical thing that's worth thousands and thousands of pounds, or £50 to £60 difference on a game. Very, very a bit of digital media, very different. But looking forward to it. I do hope it does well, because I think again it didn't really get its flowers due to just being self-cannibalized. So I think that's going to do well on PlayStation. I think South of Midnight's going to do well on PlayStation.
17th of February.
Horizon's going to do well.
It's out in about a month now.
A month, yeah.
So.
I feel like before Resident Evil.
I feel like I'm leaning towards Control for my next game.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if I have a quiet point throughout the year, I definitely could pick up Avowed.
See you in the sale.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. If this is, you know what, this is a game where if a PlayStation sale came up and it was down to £20, I'd probably just go, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Even 30 quid. I think 40 quid is just a bit too high for like an impulse buy when I'm not planning to buy it. Because I can wait. A game you can't wait on though is New World Aeternum, because you've got 1 year left before Amazon pull the plug forever.
Yep. This is from Video Games Chronicle. Clarifying it, following the October announcement, Amazon is moving away from MMO development. It's now ending its service on New World. Confirmed the game will go offline permanently on January 31st, 2027. At the time of recording, the game has already been pulled from Steam and the Xbox storefront. Beginning in July, players will no longer be able to purchase any in-game currency, Amazon said. And they did say those who have previously purchased New World Aeternum will be able to download and install the game again if they choose, but it will be no longer playable as of February next year. To quote, a few months ago we shared with you our valued commitment that no additional content will come to New World Aeternum after the Nighthaven seasonal update. We've also said more details on what's happening next, alongside essential information will follow soon. Today we're here to share updates and provide transparency on where the game goes from here. It's not really going anywhere, is it? Is it? We'd like to thank players for the dedicated passion, grateful for the team spent crafting the world of Aeternum. Together we built something special. While we're saddened to say goodbye, we're honoured that we're able to share it with the community. It's been our pleasure to work on New World, of all this unforgettable adventure. We look forward to one more year together and giving this fantastic adventure a send-off worthy of a legendary hero. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for sharing this world with us.
I don't know what the play base numbers are, but if this just
it did well, right? Yeah. This was actually well received. I remember being genuinely shocked when it came out and people were like, this shit's good. Like it did well. It had streamers playing it.
Maybe the game has just come to life that end of its lifespan. They don't have any planned more content, and they'd rather put their eggs in a different basket.
Yeah.
It does suck when a game just disappears forever like this.
I think that's the biggest thing, isn't it?
But this is the thing with online games, though. If the player base isn't there, a business can't support a game forever for a handful of people. They can't. A business is never going to just take a loss, and it's Amazon servers it's using. It does suck. There is a way to keep it alive, though. Amazon should then be good guys and let people run it on private servers, so a fan community can continue to enjoy the game.
Well, there is a little caveat story to add on top of this as well, and it's the CFO of the developers who made the Rust game. He's tweeted out saying he basically wants to buy it from them on Twitter, even went as far as to say he'll offer them 25 million last offer. And then someone else who's the head of Hypixel Games, right? And if you need any tips about buying cancelled games, message me. He bought Hytale from Riot Games last year.
Nice.
Which actually re-released it this week to monumental success.
Yeah.
According to this article. Minecraft, like Hytale, has already sold enough to fund the next 2 years of development. It's not even out yet. So that was another game picked up. And it's nice to see. I think he also tweeted out saying like these games deserve to live on, or these games don't deserve to die, which I can completely get. To give context as well, I was just looking at some Steam numbers, Richie. Arc Raiders, we've just praised, right?
Yeah.
Currently got a 24-hour peak of about 322,000. Its all-time peak 2 months ago when it launched, 481,000. To give you another example, Helldivers 2, all-time peak 458,000. So both hanging around just short of the 500,000 mark. 24-hour peak for Helldivers right now is 37,000. So massively under compared to Arc Raiders, but it's got recency. New World Aeternum, all-time peak 913,000.
What's it currently?
So almost current 24-hour peak 1,250.
That's
You can see the trajectory of you had you had almost a double all-time peak, and yet the longevity, which these other two examples could obviously be there in the same boat in a few years' time because Aeternum is a few years older, but it just shows you like these live service games, they're never designed to last forever. Like the bubble will pop eventually. We even just discussed it with Call of Duty. The bubble might pop eventually.
Yeah, true. But I think as well that I wonder if you looked at the numbers, like does a massive decline line up with Amazon like last year announcing that the last I think it was called Night Haven.
Yeah.
But that would be the last, because I wouldn't be surprised if they go, okay, this is the last. So when people finish their content, they go, well, there's nothing more for me to do. It's time to say goodbye.
Yeah, why would you hang around?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the biggest story here is this Amazon genuinely just admitting they're done with games? Like, does this bode poorly for Luna?
Well, never made it to Luna, so I don't think it
I know, but in terms of
yeah.
of like their wider gaming approach, they're done with their own. I remember we saw this with Stadia. First of all, they were done with their own internal games. They shut down Stadia Studios. Obviously, Amazon got a lot further, albeit they didn't get the game on Luna, but they got out a AAA quality game that's ran for several years. Now they're closing shop on this one. Does that indicate that they're done with making their own games? Which then, if we follow the trajectory of Stadia's life cycle, we don't see day one games coming to the platform. A Resident Evil Requiem not coming to Luna.
It doesn't look great in the sense where there's a lot of industry layoffs in not just in gaming but in tech. That still is continuing, and I don't think it's Amazon Games or County who developed New World. I don't think they've had anything else announced.
Well, they're supposed to be working on that Untitled Lord of the Rings MMO game, but then between job layoffs and saying that they're not doing MMO games, I'm not really reading the clear messaging from that one. But yeah, I think Amazon is sitting the same roadblocks Google is struggling at. Like, how do we make profit off this? And as the years tick by and that profit margin's in the red, like, we know it's going to take millions to even get on a footing. Like, look how much Microsoft is struggling.
True, yeah. I wonder if it is just the moving away from MMOs, and that's why they've made the decision here. It's like, right, we're moving away from MMOs as a general strategy, which truthfully isn't a terrible strategy in the current landscape.
Yeah.
There might still be going games in the more general games as a service, but less MMO and more smaller online community based stuff. Because it must be hard to keep this stuff running.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, it's you've got to target. It's probably like 1 in 100. Strike gold and do well with it.
Yeah. And New World originally was one of them, but then unfortunately didn't maintain it.
Again, monetization. How does it work? Where you don't piss off the fan base, but you do enough to keep the lights on. It's a delicate balance. when it works, it works. Look at our creators. But when it doesn't work, there's always repercussions.
Indeed. Moving on now, we had, in the last week, a Resident Evil showcase.
Did we, though? Did we? Yeah. Or did we get a couple of adverts for Resident Evil? And that was it. No demo.
Yeah, I think we got a couple of adverts for Resident Evil, but you can buy a card or watch.
It was shit. To sum it up for, like, I'm really excited for Resident Evil. It's
There's a reason is this started Resident Evil showcase is so low down in the running order in this episode. Yeah.
It should have been big news. It should have been like not only
this should have been the first story.
Yeah, but instead to compromise everyone's about 20 minutes. It was a little bit of new gameplay footage. We see Leon has a hatchet now instead of his trusty dagger. He can sharpen it. They showed some brutal takedown kills. They showed the difference between his aggressive approach and then we see Grace, the other protagonist's more stealth approach. Where it does look like you're going to be able to get to take out the infected character, the zombies. Because Grace is stealthy, you have like these little vials of fluid which apparently use the special hemoglobin in the blood and it basically pops them. So you sneak up on them, jab them in the neck with a syringe, and they basically explode on you. And that's how her stealth mechanics are going to come into play. They then showed off a partnership with Porsche in some kind of Resident Evil Porsche. Don't know if Leon's going to drive a Porsche in the game or if there's going to be a racing element. We don't know.
Who has the money to buy a Porsche and goes, I want a Resident Evil one?
I don't know. They also showed off a Resident Evil watch. And like I said, didn't really tell us about a demo. They did talk about different game modes. You can play in casual, standard modern, or standard classic. So the classic is basically like you can only save at the little typewriter points.
Yeah.
And then modern and casual just enjoy the story and stuff. Like you need to find like ink ribbons and stuff.
I like that actually because it's preserving the traditional Resident Evil experience for those who want it. Mm-hmm. But for those who don't like I can only save at certain points mechanics in games, which can be frustrating if you've only got like an hour to play and then crap, I've got where's the next typewriter? I can't find one, and like you're getting shouted at by your mum to put down your game because TV because T's ready, whatever.
Yeah, or Mr. X is hunting you down as well.
Yeah, so I get why you might not want that.
Yeah, deluxe edition stuff. You can get costumes and skins, different weapons, little charms for your gun, little raccoon charm. Screen filters, you can play with like a dirty brown filter from the PS3 era. You can play with a dirty blue filter from the PS4 era. Entirely up to you. The top of the zombies are slightly different, and then there's some kind of mystery about something called Elpis, but we don't know what it is. I'm guessing it's gonna be like the secret code with like the solution or the cure or something in the game. Overall, though, looks great. Can't wait for it. But I think the showcase should have just been a blog post. Really should have been.
Yeah, and probably don't bother with the stupid marketing gimmicks like Porsche. Like,
nah, daft.
You know what? There's probably a one-off that they've made or something.
IO did it with James Bond, but guess what? James Bond's got iconic for his vehicles.
Yes.
Resident Evil, not so much.
Yeah. Yes. Every Bond movie, there's a few things you're asking: who's going to be the Bond girl? What's going to be the car?
And the Bond. And the villain.
Yeah, and the villain.
And the music. Who's going to do the theme tune? You've got kind of 5
These
big
are all
hits.
ingrained into the IP.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Bond and stealthing around.
I'm not sure where you're going for that. Oh, Sly Cooper?
Just the next article on the dock, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'm not sure where the segue is. Sly Cooper, Thieves and Time? Yeah, Thieves and Time developers who made on the PS3 have been shut down by Meta.
Bastards.
Sanzaru Games, goodbye.
Yeah, Sanzaru, you probably don't know them. They're the ones who stepped in to make the PS3 Sly Cooper games after the initial trilogy was done by Sucker Punch, and then they moved on to make Infamous on the PlayStation 3 era. They handed the reins of Sly Cooper over to Sanzaru Games, who made the really good, from what I've heard, Thieves in Time.
Chris is holding up
Not
to the
played
camera.
it yet. It's the only one. I've got the Platinum Trophy in the last 2 years on all 3 Sly Cooper games, so this is on my radar. Apparently it is really good. It was just at the time it kind of got caught up in that thing where everyone transitioned over to the next gen and platformers just weren't the hot topic. It was all about shooters and other like pushing the graphic fidelity and actually like a cartoon mascot. Early PS3 360 days really didn't cut the mustard with your like edgy shooters and stuff that was going on. But yeah, Meta acquired them a couple of years back to work on some VR titles for them. And then they've just decided to close it down.
Well, they've done well, actually, considering we don't pay that much attention to VR gaming, occasionally dabble with PSVR. Asgard Wrath is something that was both on both our radars because it generally looked great and was received well, both 1 and 2. But Asgard Wrath 2 came out in 2023, but they've been shut down.
Asgard's Wrath was the Apple one, right?
Not
was it Oculus?
Meta
Quest.
Yeah,
Meta Quest. Yeah, I'm trying to think of there was one on Apple as well that was received quite well.
It got a 10 out of 10 from IGN.
Yeah, so they made a brilliant game.
87.
They've made previously good games, and they're gone. But again, fuck Meta, because this goes back to, if you remember, another studio that made a PlayStation exclusive game, Order 1886.
Yeah.
They bought them and then shut them down as well. So clearly Meta just have it in their eye for like quality talent, take them on board, put them on some VR slop for a couple of years, and then just go, shut them down. You're ruining brilliant studios.
I'm reading from Push Square here. A spokesman from Meta then confirmed all developer closures in a statement. We said last month that we were shifting some of our investment from Metaverse towards wearables. This is part of that effort, and we plan to reinvest the savings to support the growth of wearables this year. So the term wearables refers to the company's AI smart glasses and wristbands. So they're getting rid of VR gaming, which, considering Asgard's Wrath 1 and 2 are considered some of the greatest VR games of all time, to give you a pair of glasses with AI shit in it.
Yeah. So
Google Glass, everyone. It's Google Glass again.
Should point out as well is apparently there's another report that says Twisted Pixel Games, which made some old ones, but more recently did Marvel's Deadpool VR, which won Best VR Game at the Game Awards just last month. And then the third team closed is also Armature Studios, who did Arkham Origins Blackgate, which was on the Vita back in the day, which was like the Arkham spin-off for the handheld. And then they recently did the MetaQuest 2 VR version of Resident Evil 4 as well. So you've got like lots of talent.
Well, you know
and arguably a really good porting studio as well.
You know what this comes back to? Mark Zuckerberg had this vision when he bought Oculus of people sat in the offices wearing VR headsets as they work and instead of using Microsoft Teams or Zoom for meetings, or like we're using Discord right now, you'd be sat in the VR space doing the same meetings, which literally no one gave a shit about. And gaming, I think, was tagged as a tagged-on thing that you could do with these headsets on. So this is what the metaverse in his head was. Everyone would be existing with this shit on their head the whole time. But because the metaverse didn't take off, he's moved on to the next buzz thing, which is AI.
Yep.
Which is doing well, but do you want any AI smart glasses or wristbands? I
can't wait for that AI bubble.
Unfortunately, gaming is just, I think probably, I've got a feeling the MetaQuest is probably going to be shuttered in the next few years.
Wouldn't be surprised.
They're cutting rid of the gaming. Other applications just haven't been very well adopted.
Yeah.
What is it? Apple Pro Vision Plus or something? Their VR thing that just...
They're like $3,000.
Yeah. Well,
not going to happen.
Indeed.
Not until it's mainstream and affordable.
But what is affordable, Chris, is PlayStation Plus, because we've got some new catalogue games, including Resident Evil Village.
Perfect timing.
That's definitely the pick of the bunch, really.
Yeah, I think everything else is just fluff, really. Again, the catalogue one, it's so weird because there's already like hundreds of games in there anyway, so a lot of these just get added, I think, to pad out the library so they can go, ooh, hundreds and hundreds of games, more than Game Pass kind of thing.
Like a
classic
Dragon
Ridge
Infinite
Racer.
Wealth, I think it's worth pointing out.
Yeah, Ridge Racer port from the old PlayStation 1 days. Like a Dragon. But yeah, Village is definitely the highlight. Great game. Definitely go play it if you want.
See, this is the stuff where I'm looking at this list of games. This is kind of why I'm not. I'm going to getting rid of PlayStation Plus, because I've played Village before. We played it on the Stadia.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind dipping into the Like a Dragon franchise. I never really have. But there you go. I never have. I've had plenty of opportunities to give one of these games a go. I didn't. And I'm not interested in any of the rest of them. So it's like, why am I paying for these games when I'm not playing them? And you can probably pick them up for quite cheap anyway.
Yeah. I'm same. I think if like again, I think the games we really want to play, we just buy and play. So then the subscription model, it's like you wouldn't pay for Netflix if you were just buying the DVDs as they came out.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the kind of same vein. I think the rate in which we play games has slowed down so much in recent years.
I tend to still play massive RPGs, but also play very slow.
Yeah.
So I'm currently in month 2 of Octopath. Do I need a subscription service for games, or can I just buy a 70 quid? I think Octopath was only like 50 quid as well. Can I drop maybe 50 to 80 quid every couple of months?
And then it's yours forever.
Yeah.
That's always the age-old argument. But at least you won't be buying thousands of shovelware shit from the PlayStation Store.
Nope, because you can't. That's the story, really. So PlayStation Store, especially with Platinum Hunters, has been quite notorious for a lot of non-games, really, being in there with easy platinums.
Looking at you, my name is Mayo, which I do have the platinum for.
How many times? How many times?
Twice, maybe. I might have got it on the Vita and I might have got it on the PlayStation 4.
Well,
I don't have it on the PlayStation 5.
Yet.
I've drawn a line under that chapter in my Platinum Hunting history where I got really jammy a couple of years ago. And they are easy. And there's some which are quite fun, actually. 36 Fragments of Midnight, I think, on the PlayStation and the Vita was a nice little puzzle game. It just happened to come with a Platinum. But then since then, it's like, what's the point in padding it out for just... If they're not good, and then since then I've seen the error of my ways and know that I only go for good games now.
But what's happened is developer THI Games, which was actually recently the 4th highest ranking developer on PlayStation Store, has basically had the entire library just removed suddenly with no comment from Sony. All of the games have been removed from the store, the only exception being trophies tied to these titles, which remain present for those who unlock them. So if you have the trophy in them, you keep that.
You know what? In a business market, it's clever because all they did is clearly got like a background image, an image of an item. Like the games were basically jumping taco, jumping hot dog, jumping soda, jumping taco turbo, and all you had to do was click it and move. Like it's just the same as My Name's Mayo, and you pop a trophy every 100 clicks, and by the time you get to 1,000, you probably got platinum trophies. So you're talking 5 minutes done, charging £1 or £2 for it. And you know what? If it's kind of market demand. If people are stupid enough to buy it, then I don't blame them. I think the problem is when it waters down the storefront. So genuine games that have took hundreds and hundreds of hours and dedication and passion and hard work have been superseded by a 99p click a taco game. It undermines the integrity of the whole storefront.
And you want to maintain like some curation of your games. Literally, the Jumping Taco Turbo, you can literally finish it in about a minute.
95 seconds.
And all you have to do
Platinum
is
Trophy video.
Press and hold X.
Yeah.
You only have to keep pressing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I understand why these games be cut, but there again, if people want to buy them, like, it's that thing where...
it needs its own folder. It needs like its own shitty folder at the bottom of the market store where it's like, go and get these. Force them to do a physical edition.
Yeah.
You can have it if you do it in a physical collection of the jumping shit game.
This is where there needs to be better curation from Sony with trophies, because I think things like, you look at Dragon Quest 1 and 2, I think that was a single platinum for 2 games that just happened to be bundled together, where you can get a platinum in 90 seconds by holding X and watching a taco jump. There's some dodgy shit going on there, but fair enough. THI Games must be gutted because now they can't, because I wonder how much profitable they've been because of that. Because it's probably took them about an hour to make each of these games.
Oh, if that, yeah. Once they've got the kind of the engine ready to, I guess, you could probably do it with Microsoft Paint.
Indeed, but what you can't do in Microsoft Paint though, Chris, is buy Lego Pokemon.
You can. You
There's
could
some
attempt to draw, but you couldn't buy it.
prices with these new Lego sets. So Pokemon's teamed up with Lego. So there's a Pikachu and Pokeball set, and there's also a Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise set. Take a guess on the prices. I say guess. You can see the article.
I mean, the Pikachu one's kind of disturbing. I'm not going to lie. Like his cheeks. There's something about his cheeks.
It looks wrong. It doesn't look good.
He's out of proportion. I don't think he looks that good either. Actually,
you know his eyes. It looks like almost like a band around his eyes.
It's because he's made of Lego, I guess, and they've not took liberties in giving him because he's got quite a round. He's got a rounded mouse face.
I have R2D2 behind me.
Yeah, but he's mechanical though. He's not supposed to have like animal features. He's just a tin. He's a blue and white tin. But
if you can't do it well, don't do it.
Yeah, but then again, how much money will they make from the marketing?
Oh, fucking billions.
But the Charizard, Blastoise, and Charizard one, is this like a trifecta? You get all three?
I believe so.
It does look cool, and I think because they're maybe smaller.
I'll give that. It looks awesome.
Yeah, because they're small and they've got their own like little bits of like their elemental parts show through with the plinth that they stand on. It does look that probably would be the one I was going to get out of the two. The Eevee one can do one as well. The gym badges, quite cool to have the gym badges in a little gym box. Apparently scalpers have already gone mad for these ones, so don't expect to be able to find them anywhere soon. They're probably as rare as the real badges in the anime.
So I think the Pikachu and the Eevee sets are about £55, which I think is for the size of them. A little bit on the high side even for Lego, but it is the Pokemon IP, so there you go. The Charizard Blastoise one, £580.
And it's the damn one I would have as well, typical.
It's nuts. I'm looking on the Lego store and I can't, I'm trying to, it's not even that big, by the looks of it. I think it looks about maybe this big.
Yeah. Max, I was tempted almost.
Probably about 30 centimetres tall.
I was tempted almost over Christmas actually because, like looking at the comments, people saying in this economy, who has near £600 for these sets? Can anyone lend me 20 quid? And then there's people saying actually, if you go online, where you can get like the dodgy football jerseys from. Apparently, you can get almost like 1-for-1 equivalents of the Lego sets for about 120. And obviously, Lego is just a brick, isn't it? As long as you got the mold and the design, you could probably recreate it.
Yeah, I actually misspoke with the Pikachu price. The Eevee price is 55 quid. The Pikachu is 180 quid.
Oh, okay. Take that back. Yeah, the Eevee one's actually very minimal if like looking at the pictures now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so much money. But yeah, I was almost tempted to get a Lord of the Rings Barad-dûr set.
Awesome.
Because it was about £90 leading up to Christmas, but for a non-legit one. And it was like, would the legitimate part of me bug me after a while? Or would I just have fun building it? Because it's going to be all the same blocks, all the same guides. It's just going to come from China instead of the Lego store. But expensive.
Yeah. Sticking with Lego, we also have some Lego Zelda sets come out, specifically Ocarina of Time, and there's a leaked image of Link and the final battle from Ocarina of Time with Link and Zelda facing off against Ganon. For about £100. Again, a bit on the pricey side, but so is Lego.
Right. Said, I could hear you. The last thing I asked was, do you think this is a genuine, decent recreation of the final fight scene from Ocarina of Time?
From what I can tell, like a simplified version of it, yes. But a very simplified version, I think, for the price.
Yeah.
Considering from what I can see on the images, it doesn't look like there's a huge amount of Lego for £100 there.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I'll have to stitch this together somehow. But
that's all right. Yeah. And then finally, we've got some TV and action, TV movie news.
We did. We finally know who's going to be playing Kratos.
Boy.
And it's for...
Yeah. That's so weird. Amazon live action Kratos. I forgot Amazon were the ones doing the God of War series. They pulled all together. They've cast Ryan Hurst, who I think most people probably know him from the Sons of Anarchy motorcycle show. That was really, really big a few years back. He's kind of one of the main guys in that.
I was going to say, I didn't know the name at all. So, That makes
sense. From the video game world, though, he's the guy who more Captain voice acted for Thor in God of War Ragnarok. So he's familiar with the world. He's worked with, for me, the God of War, which is Christopher Judge. I think he's the personification of Kratos for me. Obviously, there's some back and forth rumour for some time that Christopher Judge might play the live action one, but they've ultimately gone with someone who probably looks a bit more like Kratos, actually. Looking at the social media post they put out, he's not far off in just his casual everyday look.
Yeah.
Just got to shave his head.
And it definitely feels
got a cracking beard.
It definitely feels like they're going for the Norse pantheon as well for this TV show.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because you can pull from the games almost one for one because they're so rich in story. You could probably do a good 2-3 seasons just from that material without having to deviate.
I've got a feeling they're going to do this, and then if it does well, they might consider going back and doing the Greek ones.
Yeah. Or maybe they've been held back because maybe Sony Santa Monica have got plans for the Greek ones and stuff again. They don't want to step on each other's toes. Maybe. We'll see.
It's possible, but I would have thought they'd go for a different pantheon.
Yeah.
So
I don't know much about them, but I think it's good casting from what I can see.
Yeah. Continuing with our cast news, we've known for a while that Sophie Turner is going to be playing Lara Croft, but we've got our first images of how she looks in a Lara outfit. Yeah. I think she looks very much like Lara Croft.
Yeah. Nipples aren't as pointy, but she's a real person, not a game from 1995.
I've seen some horrible comments about the size of her breasts. It's like, fucking grow up.
I know. So this is like a wardrobe test, so they basically just put her in one of the outfits. We're probably going to see more outfits trickled out over the next couple of weeks, but for me, I feel like it's very much a test the water, and I think all the goodwill Tomb Raider's garnered from the nerd, geeky internet fandom site, you know what? I was looking at a lot of the comments, and surprisingly, a lot of them are happy with it. I think because she's got tight-fitting clothes, her legs are out, her hair's the right colour, she looks like that PlayStation 1 Lara. I think actually Amazon have been very clever in ticking a lot of boxes that they've not gone to, quote-unquote, woke. And there's a lot of people just saying, great costume, love the glasses.
Think she looks more like early Lara Croft games than any other actress who's played her.
Yeah.
Just truthfully, I think the way the costume design on her.
Yeah.
For me, the jury is still out on her because I'm not a fan of her acting.
Yeah. That's that should be the genuine concern everyone should have, not just her physical attributes. However, that's not how the internet works.
I think physical attributes, she looks amazing as Lara. Truthfully,
she looks amazing in real life. You're not going to deny that. But then, just looking at Twitter, which is usually an absolute cesspool of horrid comments. Looks great, more believable physique for the law in live action.
She's put through. I've seen photos of her like working out for it as we were researching the story. She got absolutely ripped for the role.
What? Not athletic enough, or
no? She's absolutely
skinny enough.
She's muscular. She's got a 6-pack.
Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, it's one of them. It can go either way, kind of. But actually looking forward to seeing this. This has my attention. Excited for this. She smashed it. Queen. Like normally, when you scroll down on any comments with women, they rip it apart. There's a lot of people using AI to recreate low. I've seen so much stuff on Facebook already where people have took that one image, put it into AI, got her to pose in all these other different ways, and everyone's going, "Oh, she looks really weird in them." I'm like, yeah, because one image is legit. The other 8 images are totally fake. Yeah. Like, use your brains, people, or official sources at least.
AI, I stand by AI posting should have to be very bloody clear that this is AI.
Watermarked.
Yeah, watermarked. Watermarked is shit, and if you don't do it, you can't get suspended. Like in YouTube, if you put like content ID stuff, 3 strikes and you're out. It should be the same for posting like AI content on Twitter. If you regularly post AI content that is not marked as AI content, you lose your account.
Yeah, I do think Sophie Turner could do the British, like Lara, especially when Angelina Jolie played her. She did that like proper snooty rich British person, going like fuck off, but like.
The thing is, Sophie Turner is actually English. Yeah. So she doesn't have to try too hard to do the. She doesn't have to try too hard to do the accent.
Very true.
I don't think she. I've got a feeling she won't even. I think she'll just take a bit of a slightly posher version of her own accent.
Yeah, probably. I did see one comment that said they should have just got Angelina Jolie back. I'm like, the woman's in her 50s now. She cannot play an athletic adventurer traveling the world.
She might be able to, But why not give it the cast someone else and give someone else a chance at the character?
And you know what? All things said and done, touch wood, I'm enjoying Fallout Season 2. It's the same team that are working on God of War and working on Tomb Raider. The game reboot looks good. Maybe we can just calm down a little bit and just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Let's just do that, folks. But all looks good. I'm happy with it. I think she looks great.
Same. That is all we have time for this week. We like to round up every single show with This Week in Video Game History. Starting on January 16th, Chris, does anything jump out to you?
No, we're still in that little bit of a lull.
17th,
20 years ago, on the 17th, we got Ape Escape 3 on the PlayStation 2, which I just went, maybe spoilers for PlayStation Retro Hunt. Can't remember if I've released an episode to do with Ape Escape yet or not. I'm casually looking now to see if that one's live. I don't think it is. Spoilers.
12 years ago, Divinity Original Sin came out on the PC, so an earlier Divinity game that Larian's now working on a follow-up to the franchise. I've never played it, but I think it's worth commenting because there's nothing much else. I'm now into January the 18th.
No, I think...
Little Big Planet 2 on the 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good one. So shout. 2 years ago, on January the 19th, we got Pal World, the controversial Pokemon game, if you can call it that. 2 years since we played Pal World, Richie.
Yeah.
Actually enjoyed what
we played it prior to the release.
Did we?
Yeah, wasn't it on early access or something when we played it?
Oh, I can't remember now. 2 years ago. I can't remember what I did 2 days ago, let alone 2 years ago.
Indeed. But that's all we have time for this week. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you're kept in the loop of all our content here at GamerGuildTV. If you want to join some like-minded people and have some awesome conversation, we have a Discord server. Link is in the description below. With that, my name's been Richie.
I've been Chris.
GG everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.